Hold on a second. One person has done better than 4-1 this year.
Oh, who's that?
And that is a lovely young man who sits across. The only 5-0 week belongs to the lovely and talented Sid Zixero, who in week 4 went 5-0 with his picks against the spread. We are looking for someone to match and assume the crown and take that trophy away from the Washington Capitals' Joel Ward, who has dubbed himself the landlord until otherwise disposed of.
All right, so that trophy is up for grabs. Who's got 2 thumbs and was 5-0 this year? This guy. Hopefully, our next guest can duplicate. It's Blake Wheeler of the Winnipeg Jets. Blake, how you doing?
What's up, guys? I'm doing good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Very good.
Pretty good.
We've been told that you're a bit of an NFL fan, that you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it depends on the day. I think you guys, it looks like you guys got me on an interesting week here. Some of these games are a little bit dicey, but yeah, I'm willing to take a shot at it.
Okay, here's the deal. So our producer, oftentimes guys are in the spot where they'd like us to throw games at us. We've been told that you have 5 games, but you want us to throw 5 games at you?
Well, I guess I was told you were going to throw 5 at me. But,
All right, any 5.
Sure. Yeah,
all right.
You good with that?
I'm good with it.
All right, Tim, can I go first?
Sure.
Okay. Tomorrow, Portugal, Sweden. World Cup playoff qualifying.
Say Sweden.
Yeah,
Say
just,
Sweden.
No.
Piss
That's
him
not a
off,
real
Blake.
thing. That's not a real thing.
I'll say Sweden just because I think Toby Enstrom will probably figure out if I say
Oh, throw it up. I see where your Zlatan Ibrahimovic loyalties lie.
Yeah.
Okay, so that wasn't a real game. Correct answer is Portugal, just so we're clear. And Sportsnet will be all over that thing tomorrow, and we'll have updates with Alex Zixero, hopefully.
My co-host is Portuguese. I apologize.
I didn't think he could tell.
The previous 2 minutes, Blake. All right, let's start with the Monday Nighter. It is the New England Patriots on the road to face the winners of 5 in a row in the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are favored by 2.5. Who you got?
I hate this game, but I'm going to have to go with Tom Brady. You don't bet against Tom Brady. I've been told that before.
Always trust in Tom. And listen, there's going to be a lot of Panther love after what they did to San Francisco last week. So
yeah, I'm not on the bandwagon.
I think it's a decent pick on your end. So that's a good start. All right.
I don't think it's often you get points with Tom Brady.
Very true.
I'll take him.
All right.
All right. Let's. All right. I mentioned San Francisco. Let's go down that road. New Orleans hosting San Francisco, Blake. New Orleans minus 3-point favorites at home against the reigning NFC champions. Your gut tells you what?
New Orleans all day.
All day.
All day, baby.
All right, yeah.
That was quick.
Are you, now, you're a Vikings fan, is that correct?
I was hoping we were going to have to talk about that. But yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm a diehard Vikings fan, I am.
Shall we go Minnesota and Seattle, or would you like to stay? I'll give you the honor of being able to pass up your team, because sometimes that's hard. You're thinking with your heart and instead of your head. Would you like to pass up?
The other side of that is Blake could be the easiest pick of the week for it, because I think you know better than most what might happen here.
Oh man, well, even last year when the Vikings made the playoffs, they went into Seattle, and I think they got whacked pretty good. So you got to think Seattle's gonna cover 13.5 at home. You would think.
All right, so you want to lock in that game for you this week? It's your choice.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. And our number says 12, so we'll give you 12, all right? And then you get a 1.5 points.
Even better. Even better.
All right, so we got 3 picks.
Actually, sorry, Tim, quickly. Blake, if you played quarterback for the Vikings, could you win?
If I get to hand off to 28 all day, it gives me a pretty good chance, doesn't it?
Well, great point. Outstanding. Outstanding point.
I think now though other teams are now committing 14 men in the box, and for a game that only allows 11 on the field, that's a little much.
You could really mess them up with some play action on that. I already got the play set for you.
Yeah, Vikings fans have been dealing with that for quite a while now. So it's old hat for us.
You know, it's funny. I've always said this. Like, for some reason, when you get a great running back, you lean on, like, the history tells you like Earl Campbell in Houston. They didn't have a good team. Barry Sanders in Detroit. They never had good teams surrounding them because they always were so reliant on that great running back. I hope that's not the case for your Vikings. I hope.
Well, it's always about the quarterbacks, isn't it? No matter what.
Yeah, it seems so in this league.
Seems like it.
Speaking of that, I'm going to give you a tough one. Green Bay at the Giants. Green Bay is starting Scott Tolz or something called a Scott Tolzien at quarterback.
So technically, they will be the first team in history to not have a quarterback in the game.
No, can't say that.
Yes, I can. Does he listen to this show? No? Well, then forget him. I could say that.
Giants are 4.5-point favorites.
Giants are 4.5-point favorites. Man, that Giants-Vikings, that's the only time I've watched them was that Monday night game, the Giants and the Vikings. I think those
are the worst game ever played in the history of time.
The worst game in the NFL history.
Ever.
The Giants were just a little bit better than the Vikings. I got it. I'll take Green Bay.
All right.
You know what?
Green Bay and you get points.
That's a good pick.
Play
Eddie Lacy. They'll just ride Eddie Lacy. What do you think?
See, the guy knows what he's talking about.
Maybe a little James Starks thrown in there, too. A little double back. Sure.
They better. I tell you that much because Scott Tolzien's playing quarterback. So.
Blake, this is all just one big tease for the big one.
All right.
Yep.
Here's the game. It is Sunday night. NBC just completely big-footed every other network and said, we got this one. Kansas City, 9-0 at 8-1 Denver. And right now, according to the sheets that Tim and I have, the Broncos are sitting at 8.5-point favorites. One of the better defenses in football, one of the great stories in Kansas City, but the bettors are giving them no love whatsoever.
Don't try and sway the bet.
No, I'm laying it out there for Blake.
The Broncos have scored more points through 9 week's than anyone in NFL history.
But 8.5 points is a hell of a number for a game this tight. I don't want to sway you either way, but I'm thinking Chiefs.
I know, and I have. I think this is one of those games where I'm going with my heart a bit. I have Kansas City's defense in a few of my fantasy leagues.
Oh, yes.
All right.
And their defense is. I think that's the game's going to be decided on that side of the ball. Can if Denver puts up those points, I don't know if Kansas City can score with them, but 8.5, I like Kansas City too.
All right.
I would like to know, honestly, the last time through 6 or 7 weeks, an undefeated team is 8.5-point dogs. Has that ever happened in the history of football?
Well, Peyton Manning. I think people love Peyton Manning.
They do. They get seduced by Peyton Manning.
At some point, though, he won't have 2 ankles. And then everyone's going to be shocked when that happens.
All right, let us recap the picks. And once again, you're going after our clubhouse leader, who is one of the Dragons in Dragon's Den, Jim Treliving. He went 4-1 against the spread. So Blake Wheeler of the Winnipeg Jets is taking New England with Tom Brady, New Orleans, Seattle, Green Bay, and Kansas City plus the points in the big game of the week. You dudes are playing some hockey over the last little while. What's going on?
Well, I think we felt like our record didn't really indicate how we were playing for a good part of the season. I think we felt like we were playing better than the results were showing. We threw away a couple of games that we felt like we should have won, and I think that's a little bit about the learning curve. Our team kind of come together and realizing what we have and how we're going to win games. And I think we're all buying into that right now, and it's given us a bit of a success.
Blake, it's been a while since we talked to anyone from the Jets, so I'm just curious because from the outside looking in, it looks amazing. How hilarious is Claude Noel? He looks like he's hilarious. Yeah,
he's good. He's especially lately when you're winning, it's even a little bit more fun. But I think that's one thing that he's been pretty good about over the last few years is not necessarily making it miserable. A miserable environment to come around. You don't want to lose. You want to make the playoffs. We're all pushing for the same goal, but on a day-to-day basis, I think he tries to bring enthusiasm to the rink every day, and I think our team feeds off that too. So I think we enjoy the atmosphere when we come to the rink, and obviously when you're winning, it makes it even a little bit better.
Blake, I get the feeling, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there is a section of your fan base, and it's a great one, obviously, but there's a section of your fan base that feels you guys are close. And if GM Kevin Cheveldayoff were to maybe sacrifice some of the younger pieces here, you guys can get some veterans in the room, and you can be a playoff team this year. But the other side of that coin is, patience has been the plan here with that team, and Cheveldayoff maybe wants to see it through. But I sense the fan base is starting to get a little antsy, and they can smell the postseason. Is that the vibe right now in the city?
I think so. I think the expectations have definitely risen over the last couple of years. I think the first year was a little bit of a honeymoon year. I think people were just happy to have us back in town, We flirted with the playoffs for a good part of the season. We weren't really out of it until maybe the last week of the year. So I think we felt like it was a good building year for our team. And last year, I think everyone felt in our room that we were a playoff team last year, and we just, we had a string of 5 games, right before the stretch run that we went 0-5, and I think ultimately that's what cost us the playoffs. We had a great stretch. We almost won every game coming down the stretch, but that's what happened. So did every other team that we were trying to catch. So that's the way it works, and I think we're trying to learn from that. We're trying not to get behind the 8 ball, and it's a fine line, when you talk about potentially mortgaging your future to try to get guys for an immediate push. But I think you nailed it. I really feel like people around here are expecting us to make that next step, and we expect that in our dressing room too. And so I think we're starting to get on the right track here of finding an identity and buying into it. And I think that's the biggest key in our room right now.
Winners of 3 in a row, and 4 of their last 5. Blake Wheeler from the Winnipeg Jets. Both of us have expressed our affinity for that fan base and how loud that barn gets when you guys get going. So we wish you the best of luck, and thank you for coming on and giving us your picks against the spread. We'll keep an eye on it and see if you can take home our prize.
All right, guys. I appreciate it.